Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
We have arrived to the last weekend in February, and it's going to be one of our warmest. Unfortunately, it's also coming with rain. We'll time it out for you coming up.
A fight turns deadly. A Huron Township mother killed as a son's fight with his parents spirals out of control.
But we'll begin with horrifying allegations against John Geddert just 24 hours after the ex-Olympic gymnastics coach took his own life.
Court documents accuse Geddert of forcing young athletes to perform hurt, and that's really just the beginning.
Let's get to Grant Herms live. We are talking about years of alleged abuse here, Grant.
Devin, Kimberly, what's alleged goes back as far as 2000, involving athletes as young as 10 years old. We're talking extreme and repeated physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. We should say, and we should warn, that some of what's to follow here is graphic and disturbing.
Inside 37 pages of court documents detailed disturbing allegations of decades of treatment of young gymnasts at the hands of John Geddert. Among the allegations were numerous instances of Geddert forcing young girls to practice or perform on broken legs, spines, arms, and torn muscles and tendons, frequently yanking athletes from heights of 15 to 16 feet, causing serious injury. The athletes also described extreme psychological abuse, one alleging Geddert kept a list of girls called his Fat Club and would force them to do extra conditioning. In one allegation, Geddert restricted a 12 to 13-year-old athlete's diet to just 500 calories a day while training off thousands of calories. That same athlete began self-harming as a result of the described abuse. Multiple athletes allege Geddert would frequently tell them to, quote, just go kill yourself. In one instance, Geddert is alleged to have told a young girl to, quote, climb off the top of the rafters of the gym, jump off, and kill herself. In another allegation, after a gymnast attempted to take her own life, Geddert, quote, required her to apologize to him for her suicide attempt, telling her her attempt would, quote, ruin him and would ruin her as well, ensuring that she never got a scholarship. Then there was the accusation of sexual assault, described as punishment for perceived underperformance. The survivor, who was 14 at the time, alleges Geddert followed her into the locker room and sexually assaulted her. The athlete saying Geddert leaned in and told her, quote, this wouldn't be happening if you just completed my assignment at practice.
Investigators also say that while all of these allegations were going on, parents continued to pay Geddert to train their children. They say between the years of 2012 and 2018, so just after those gold medal Olympic Games in London, Twistar's gym made about $9 million, and Geddert, Devin, made personally about $3 million.
Grant, there was also that charge involving former USA Gymnastics doctor Larry Nassar. Talk about what we've learned about that so far.
Well, in these allegations, investigators say that they also found that Geddert said that he was unaware of any allegations against Nassar or of Nassar's crimes. They found that in 2011, that didn't seem to be the case. There was at least one alleged instance when he would have been told, but he allegedly chose to ignore it. He also told investigators athletes were not allowed to be alone with Nassar, and we know now that just wasn't true.
Yeah. All right, Grant. Now let's get to new information that we're learning about a wild chain of events that left a Huron Township mother dead from a stab wound.
Police say the parents had some sort of altercation with their son inside a home on Judd Road when the mother was fatally wounded. Our Larry Spruill walks us through what happened and shows us how an off-duty police officer played a key role in making the arrest.
Huron Township police are really calling this situation a very sad one. That's because it involves a son and his parents. Now, we're talking about two scenes here. One right here, the other one right across the street over there. And tonight, a woman is dead.
It's something that you never expect, and it's completely disheartening.
That's how police are describing a terrible situation here on Judge Street in Huron Township.
This is a mother, son, and father. There was a domestic dispute of some sort in the house.
Director of Public Safety Everett Robbins tells me the son showed up at his parents' home and attacked both of them. Robbins said he stabbed his 53-year-old mother inside the home, and then somehow the son and his 55-year-old father ended up across the street outside their neighbor's home, who was a police officer but was off duty at the time. The off-duty officer saw the son attempting to stab his dad and jumped into action.
At that point, he got the subjects. There was a victim as well as a suspect. He held them at gunpoint. He was able to talk them into releasing the knife.
Police arrived and discovered the mother dead inside the home and the father with multiple stab wounds.
What I can tell you is that there were both gunshots and stab wounds, that this was a multi-weapon incident. At this point, we're still trying to sort out exactly where their injuries are.
And right now, police are not releasing the names of the victims at this time. We're live tonight. Larry Spruill, Local 4.
Larry, I know you said it was an argument, but do police know what caused all of this? What were they arguing about?
And Kimberly, that is the question that we talked about for really 5 minutes. And police say that a lot of the officers knew the parents and they were very nice people. So really none of this makes any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, really sad. Okay, Larry, thanks.
We've got breaking news just in regarding Detroit Public Schools. The district will reopen classrooms to K through 12 students beginning March 8th. Classes, as you probably know, have been online only since November when rising cases forced the district to close classrooms. On Wednesday, the district opened its learning centers. Even with the return to class, though, on March 8th, students and families will have the option of in-person or online learning.
A Southgate man faced a judge today to determine if he will stand trial for his wife's murder.
Ryan Hilton is charged with first-degree murder in the death of 31-year-old Amanda Hilton. She was reported missing by her husband back on New Year's Day. Then police found her body 5 days later behind the apartments where the couple lived. In court today, Amanda Hilton's mother became emotional, recalling a conversation she had with her grandson.
My grandson started talking about his cat and how Ryan would keep the one and he would take the other two, and I had to explain to him, Ryan did this to your mom. He will not be keeping your cat. That's what I explained to him.
The preliminary exam will continue on March 11th.
We are getting our first look at the man charged in a deadly freeway shooting in Detroit. 39-year-old David Easterly is facing murder and weapons charges in connection to the death of Bernard Waller. It happened Monday in the westbound lanes of I-96 at Grand River. Police say Waller was shot and killed at the scene. A woman that was also shot later died at the hospital. A man from a second vehicle that was involved tried to run from the scene but was hit and killed by a car unrelated to the shooting. Bond for Easterly was denied.
We have arrived at the weekend, and it'd be nice if we could take this weather along for the ride. The last one, by the way, in February.
Yeah, that's right. Let's get over to Ben to see what's headed our way this weekend.
Well, guys, you can tell from this map there's going to be some rain around, but if we have to have it over the weekend, let's get it in and get it out, and that may be the case. You can see those showers starting to develop down to the south. We'll be seeing those in here probably at least by midnight in the south zone, maybe a little bit sooner. And with temperatures hovering around that 32-degree mark, there could be a little bit of freezing rain at the onset. That will quickly become all liquid. So when we do wake up on Saturday morning around daybreak, there's going to be some widespread rain, but it should be all liquid and be out of here by about midday. And that's the best chance of rain. It's not the only shot. We still have to deal with some on Sunday as well. Coming up, we'll look at the timing, but you can tell some of the warmest temperatures we've seen all month as we're gunning for 50 on Sunday. We'll tell you how to dodge the drops this weekend coming in just a few minutes, guys. Okay, Ben, let's take a look at today's coronavirus numbers. 1,073 new cases in the last 24 hours. And look at that number of deaths. I don't remember the last time we could report just one death over the last 24 hours, but that was the report today.
And with the vaccine, 2.6 million doses have been delivered to Michigan, with 2.1 million shots going into arms.
And breaking news now in the battle against COVID-19. The United States is now on the verge of having a third available vaccine.
Yeah, this information just into the newsroom. As expected, the FDA's advisory panel of independent experts has just voted to recommend the FDA grant an emergency use authorization for Johnson & Johnson's single-dose vaccine. The vote was unanimous.
Yeah, and the FDA will now make a final decision. That's expected quickly, as early as tomorrow. So here's a closer look at today's discussion that led to that decision.
It's been studied in the largest COVID-19 vaccine trial to date in multiple countries, giving us more data to analyze and confidence in the results.
Not surprisingly, much of today's discussion focused on the single-dose aspect of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
It can lead to the ability to reach both individual and herd immunity more quickly. Essentially, It simplifies the process.
But J&J has begun studying the potential benefits of a second dose. The panel asked if that sends a mixed message to recipients.
You can see where that would be confusing to people, where they are thinking maybe I didn't get what I needed.
While the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is less effective than Pfizer and Moderna's, the experts noted no one who received the J&J vaccine was hospitalized or died from COVID-19.
The efficacy at preventing relatively mild or even moderate disease may be different, but yet all of the vaccines seem to be equally effective at preventing very severe disease, intensive care need, and deaths.
Serious allergic reactions were not seen in the phase 3 trial. However, on Wednesday, Johnson & Johnson learned of 2 reactions, one resulting in anaphylaxis in a trial currently taking place in healthcare workers in South Africa. Johnson & Johnson says it is going to begin testing its vaccine in children ages 12 to 17. That could begin as early as next week. Again, we just got the word on the preliminary approval. We'll keep you posted on the FDA's decision, expected as early as tomorrow. Their final word. Johnson & Johnson says it has 4 million doses of vaccine ready to go out immediately. So big news this afternoon, potentially. A popular downtown attraction has been named the best in the U.S.
How about this? The Detroit Riverwalk was named #1 in USA Today's 10 Best Readers' Choice Awards. The Detroit Riverwalk attracts nearly 4 million visitors annually. It has remained open every day during the coronavirus pandemic. Riverwalks in Wilmington, North Carolina, Philadelphia, San Antonio, and Cincinnati rounded out the top 5.
That is a really nice feather in the cap.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Awesome honor.
Yeah.
All right, much more to come. Here is Sean Lane.
You would think a 94-year-old World War II veteran would be at the very top of the list to get a COVID-19 vaccine. That is not the case. Luckily, this veteran has some incredible neighbors who helped him out. And today, we went along as this veteran got his first dose. We'll show you coming up on Local 4.
All right, Sean, if you'd think it was mid-July, 2 major construction closures this weekend. We'll tell you where the orange barrels will be just ahead.
But first, after weeks of delays, the family finally got a chance to speak their piece. An emotional day in court as a man is sentenced for throwing a deadly punch. That's next.